welcome back to another episode of Strategic Noncompliance. As is, you have me here, and you also have Mike Blue here. Mike Blue here, you're able to speak now, right? Mike. Figures he probably forgot to put his headphones on.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, there we go.
No, I got my headphones on.
Yo, so, someone also wanted to cover some sort of trespass kind of ordinance a little bit later on tonight. We'll go ahead and look into that after we talk about a lot of stuff. Also, if you guys are paying attention, we are listening to intro opening song is Stark Mad by Technoax, royalty-free music for everybody. Just make sure you give them proper attribution. On top of that, if you are wanting a chance to sort of talk with us, we will be taking direct questions from the audience through Discord. For those of you who do know, the Discord link is in my description box on my live stream channel and over there on Twitch. But if you're over on Mike Bluehair's side of things, I will of course just go ahead and post the link over there. That is our method, because you know why? Some people don't come in at the right volume, and it allows me to adjust your volume so everybody can hear you, or you're not blaring out everybody else with a loud volume. I can actually adjust it. That's the reason why I'm kicking people over to that technology for doing our interactions, is because it makes it easier on my side of things, and it does make it easier on your side of things a little bit. But as is, let us go ahead and get started. Mike, shall we talk about not Morro Bay, Almost Park?
Yeah, man. Let's make it happen. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know, I didn't even get this going. I'm just really thankful that there's people out there willing to risk, basically, you know, their possible death to exercise a right that we all should have, you know. And it's a salient example, what's going on out in Almost Park, that we don't live in a free society anymore. I mean, if citizens merely carry weapons that they're legally allowed to carry for the purpose of self-defense, you know, there's a problem. There's a fundamental problem, you know. I mean, we like to believe that we have this Bill of Rights and this Constitution and that we're all protected by it and it's all hunky-dory. Well, that's all fine and good on paper. But, you know, in practice, you know, you're allowed to say anything you want in America. But the moment people start listening to you, or the moment you start, you know, swimming against the grain and all the other little fish want to swim towards you, and you start to get attention or momentum or start to piss off the wrong people, they'll shut you down. And first they'll try to ridicule you. Second, they'll try to, you know, harass you. And third, they'll kill you. You know, American history is replete with people that have stood up and they've gotten murdered for it, you know. And you know, I'll just put the ball back in Bunny's court, but like, I'm really thankful that there's people out there like Open Carry Texas and all the other, you know, hundreds of thousands of other activists all over the country trying to make the world a better place. If you're walking out your front door and you're trying to do something to make the world a better place, I don't care about your political ideology. I love you and I'll support you. I don't care, you know, about all this right versus left stuff. But yeah, I'm just done talking for now, buddy.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead. I got the Watch Together page up. We're gonna look at a quick clip from the Potosi. As is, it's quite the interesting meeting happened Thursday involving the city ordinance. Let's go ahead and watch.
I would simply like to say there is no state statute in the state of Texas that prohibits the carry of a long gun openly, except under certain specific circumstances.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, I'll recognize Mr. Pellegrino.
I move that we repeal section 24.85 of the city ordinances.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nobody's opposed. Motion carried.
All right, so what happened here is they repealed the ordinance that was against being able to have rounds in the magazine or the rifle itself, or shotgun, rifle, or any kind of long gun, while open carrying it in the city. Now, here's the kicker. A lot of people have been commenting that people who have been arrested on this specific, with the issue of open carry, have not been charged with that ordinance. They've been charged with several other kinds of crimes, ranging from disorderly conduct to resisting arrest or interfering with an official's investigations and stuff like that. That is what we're seeing. So this is just more or less a smokescreen, as some people have put it. What do you say, Mike?
I say it's, you know, too little too late. It's come out, you know, thanks to News Now Houston and the Batosai and Open Carry Texas, that this police force, this police chief, and this city council are all a gang of criminals. And it's too little too late. I think they're trying to backpedal now and trying to, you know, appease all these right-wing activists, because Texas is a right-wing state. That's their voting base. If they want to ever get elected again, they're going to have to appeal to conservatives, and conservatives don't like it when you step on their constitution. And I'd like to say something else about this stupid city ordinance. Like, oh wow, okay. First of all, if you make it illegal to have a loaded firearm, right? If you write a city ordinance that says that you can be jailed over this, or fined, or both, whatever. I haven't read the specifics, but okay, this is why it's really dumb. Okay, in order to ascertain whether or not someone's firearm is loaded, you have to perform an illegal search or an unlawful search. Unless the person says, "Oh yes, officer, my firearm is you know, open or loaded," and then opens up, you know, pulls back the charging handle, whatever, opens it and shows the bullets in the magazine. Like, if they don't volunteer that information, they have to search. So it takes a dump on the Fourth Amendment, because, you know, they have to search to ascertain whether or not it's loaded, you know, and it goes against Texas state law. So just on those 2 points, I don't see how that city council was, you know, thinking, you know, at all when they established this dumb city ordinance.
Well, and the thing is with it, there's a lot of cities out there have ordinances that violate some sort of case law, or violate some sort of civil rights, some sort of constitutional established law that takes precedence over it, and they've been on the books for 40 to 100 years and stuff like that. There's like stupid stuff of you can't have a loaded firearm when you can't preempt the state constitution or the state laws on that stuff. There's stuff with like dealing with various kinds of speech, like offensive speech laws. When you look at it, there's several federal case laws that go, no, that law is no longer valid or isn't valid, period. And sometimes these things just slip through because no one wants to do the legal research. Is this legal or not? It was one of the big, huge battles when in Anchorage with the whole drone thing, where I pointed out the FAA has the sole authority for regulating the the skies when it comes to flying and all that stuff. And if you try to compete with that, you're going to lose in the long run, because Congress said FAA has the sole authority to regulate and the whole dealing with flying and being in the sky and all that stuff. No other agency has been given that authority, so you're going to be a little bit screwed on that part if you try to fight with the FAA over the enforcement of some of your rules. And I end up listing out about 5 or 6 case laws in that meeting that talk about, oh, there is this lawsuit, there is this lawsuit, and there is this lawsuit, where the FAA kicked those cities' asses in court. And, I mean, and the segue onto further issues, it still does not deal with the issue of the bad police officers that are in that department. And it goes all the way up to the police chief himself. And I think a couple of people have, a couple activists have said the only way they're going to really be able to resolve this issue is they completely dissolve the police department and redo the entire thing. Mike, you there? Did I lose him? Hold on, guys.
No, I had my mic muted. Yeah, man, I think that when you have this much corruption, I mean, we have news now, Houston, and he has no reason to be untruthful about this report, you know, saying that these cops are actually trying to threaten and intimidate women by threatening to rape them, right?
And we saw a great example with that on Wednesday's show, where that one officer literally ignores Texas Sheepdog and goes after Buck G with his gun pointed at her, slapping the cell phone out of her hand and trying to slap the other camera out of her hand.
Right, and you can tell by that video that the camera, it looks like the camera went onto the ground. Looks like he slapped it right over her hand to me.
She had two in her hand, her cell phone recording. She had a regular camcorder. One of those was knocked to the ground.
Right, because you can see it from the angle. It looks like it's on the asphalt. But I'm going to run that in slow motion and do one of my, you know, let's analyze the video things. You know, my you know, grassy knoll stuff later. But yeah, it's obvious that these guys are criminal scumbags. You know, their case in point why qualified immunity should be amended. And why, you know, these various versions of peace officers' bills of rights need to be amended. And their case in point why, you know, police union contracts need to be looked over very carefully by every activist. If you're an activist and you're concerned about the way police are treating the people that you live with, your friends and family, and even strangers, you know, we have to stand up for each other's rights. You need to dig into your city archives and go to your city's website and look at these union contracts and start making some noise about the stuff that's just obviously glaring, that jumps out at you, that doesn't make any sense. And we need to start, you know, guarding the guards. Who will guard the guards themselves? We must guard them.
Yeah. And the thing is this is, I mean, this isn't the only kind of thing. Let's take a look at another thing, and Batosai actually does a pretty good job of shedding light on these things. I'm going to go ahead and load that up into, what is it here? Load this into the Watch Together. Give it a second. Okay, we're going to play that.
Alright guys, got another update here. This is coming from the city of Alamo Heights. They're also located in the San Antonio area. This city actually borders Almost Park on the east side, and they also have a similar ordinance, ordinance number 421, prohibiting any person other than an authorized peace officer from carrying a loaded rifle or shotgun in the city. Looks like the city council is going to be holding a meeting repealing this ordinance. As you guys know, earlier today, Almost Park held a emergency city council meeting to repeal their ordinance. And notice that the ordinances are almost worded exactly the same.
What do you want to say?
You know, this is case in point why activists exist. Okay, you already have a neighboring municipality meeting about this ordinance, and they may repeal it. You know, this is why people go out and do activism. It's because change happens occasionally. You know, it's a slow process. You know, to take the country back from the grip of tyranny will take, you know, effort, you know, and I don't know if it can be done. I have zero faith, but it's refreshing to see this kind of thing happen, and that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
So this meeting is going to be held on April 4th of 2018 at 8:45 in the morning. For those of you who are in the area of city of Alamo Heights who want to attend that meeting, here's your chance to do so. And you know, it looks like they're trying to do the right thing, but you know, at least they're jumping ahead of the curve before, you know, people start open carrying in their city.
Now I'm gonna add on to this. This is actually nothing really new for that general area. The city of San Antonio also had, well, either still has or had a ordinance of similar going on with no bullets in the chamber kind of thing when open carrying. or just carrying a firearm in general. And Open Carry Texas applied pressure to the point where I think it's no longer enforced, but it might be still on the books. I haven't really done the research on that. This has been a big, huge battle for almost 4 years, I think, in that general area. With it was about a 2-year battle with San Antonio directly, and I'm quite surprised that with the flare-up with Olmus Park, now the surrounding municipalities are looking at their own ordinances and going, "Oh crap, we got stuff in here we should probably change before it starts coming. Before we start having these issues popping over in our areas." Because it's going to spread. The wildfire started, it's now going to spread, and it's a publicly seen wildfire getting bigger. Because a lot of people are upset with the way the police are overstepping their legal bounds to try and enforce these legal ordinances.
They're overstepping, they're goose-stepping. And according to News Now Houston, 50 activists are planning on coming down there. 50.
Yeah, there's the number, every single time I hear the update of people that are saying, yes, I'm planning on being there, gets larger. For the, I think it's April 7th thing going on. And believe me, if I had the chance, I would enjoy being down there. That is for sure. But
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
Here's the thing. If you're one of my subscribers out there and you feel like wasting some money on moi, you know, send me out there. Olmus Park would love me. So if anybody wants to support my flight, I think I can cover my food and lodging while I'm down there, or figure it out. But like, yeah, they would love me so much. They would just so much enjoy having me there.
Well, what you want to have some fun? You want to look up the price of a plane ticket right now? If they at least get us there for like 2 days.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. You just keep everybody occupied.
Oh, well, no, we're gonna do this live where everybody can see it. Yeah.
Check out Cheap Tickets and.
I use Skyscanner. It's just as good. Okay.
Try it. See what comes up on the old interweb.
Okay, let's take a quick look and San Antonio. Okay, there we go. We need to be down there for the 7th, so let's say we fly in on Thursday and we leave on the following Tuesday. Search. Oh, did I check, make sure that was round trip? I think it is. Hopefully it is. Okay, so right now, if we were to be able to purchase, if Mike Bluehair was able to purchase tickets, we're looking at about $600.
Wow, that's not bad.
Yeah, that is not bad. But here's the thing. This is next week, and the closer it gets to the date, the higher the price goes for last minute. So that means if you guys want to get Mike Bluehair down there, you might want to help out on that aspect because it's expensive to travel. Yeah, that was a round trip thing.
You could do a round trip. See what it is for one person.
That was $600 Skyscanner, and that's just nice. Adding a little bit of buffer room in case there's like taxes or whatever. But the lowest I saw was $560 on their thing. So I might try
a GoFundMe or something in the next day. I'll see. Like I need to make sure that all my ducks are in a row at home. But like I usually never bother my people for money. Unless it's a big event, something like Standing Rock or Ferguson or something like that, or someone gets arrested. I raised a decent amount of money to keep Bob in junk food and not bored to death when he was in jail, and that was nice, but this might not be a big enough thing to where I want to ask people for. So if you guys do see my GoFundMe for this, like hook it up. But if you don't, then like don't worry about it. I'm not actually asking my fans and supporters, whatever you want to call yourselves. I feel weird calling people my fans, people that like my work, whatever. Yeah, don't send me money now, but like if you see my GoFundMe, hook it up. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, and the thing is it's not more or less about the whole Second Amendment. It's mainly about a bad police department that is oppressing people that show up or even do live in that town for exercising their civil rights, whether it be criticizing the police department when we saw a Texas sheepdog get held at gunpoint for holding a sign. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's also a First Amendment issue. I mean, I recall one of those guys having a gun aimed at him, and they're like, "Put the sign down, lay on the ground." You know, like I remember one of those open carry Texas guys. He was holding a sign, and they're like, "Put the sign down." So it's a First Amendment issue.
Well,
you know,
yeah,
I mean, we have a natural, inalienable right to speak. You know, that existed before the Constitution, and it's going to exist after the Constitution. The fact that I am sentient and that I'm created by something that humans can't mess with, you know, insert your own higher power here, gives me the right to express myself. Okay, gives every other sentient human being the right to express themselves, and that's also on the line here. They're willing to use weapons and intimidation, fear, caging humans, kidnapping them, threatening to rape women to shut down free speech. Oh, hell no.
Yeah, well, as is, I mean, the thing is what we got going on with that police department is just straight up out of control. They're going after people with the cameras that are filming the stuff. They're going after people that have a political speech or stance that they don't like. And this kind of thing could easily happen with just a standard street preacher or someone who's leafleting and handing out information about whatever their political or belief stances are. This could easily happen to any other situation. I mean, many other situations, and it's very clear this police department does not like guns. And it's gonna be interesting what happens when the big huge march in April happens, and how they're gonna react to that. Are they going to start arresting people that are just happen to be too far away from the main crowd or something like that? And when it's the end of the day, are they going to just try to pick people off? These are going to be big questions that will be answered when the time happens. Let's see, TCA 39, unlawful to capture images of intent of conduct. Oh, okay, I think they're still talking about some military stuff that, Constitutional Heroes wanting us to look at a trespass code for the United States military bases. We'll look at that later on, guys. But let's also talk about Morro Bay with bad police officers. How about that, huh?
Yeah, I think a lot of this has to do with the psychology in the 21st century. Like, really, there's a few professions that a sociopath is attracted to, and law enforcement is one of them. You know, like Portland, the city I live in, it's got a whole lot of corruption in it. But there's some things I like about their screening process to become a cop. Like 1 out of every 100 applicants they accept. And there's a heavy psychological screening that goes on. The screening, the background check that's ran and the vetting that's ran on a Portland Police Bureau is similar to or as good as the vetting that they would run somebody if they wanted to become an FBI agent in Quantico. It's really that hard to become a cop in Portland, you know. And if you're going to give somebody the power to kill someone, you know, in a society, which I find repugnant, but because I don't believe people can delegate rights that they don't own, and no one owns the right to murder someone, okay? But you know, if society is going to do this, at the very least, they should heavily scrutinize and psychologically screen these people, you know?
Yeah, and so I'm actually loading up the incident over in Morro Bay, so this will be quite interesting here. This is what originally started the whole Morro Bay thing.
You just walked into our office, and filming the inside of our office is a violation of the penal code.
But it's a public lobby, though. It's open to the public.
Okay. But let me tell you, once you pass beyond that threshold, you're not allowed to photograph in there. That's the same as photographing inside of a jail or an election office.
From a public area, though, I've photographed the lobbies of many police stations. Like I was just at the Los Altos Sheriff's Station.
Nate, it's a misdemeanor crime to do that. Okay. So here's what we'd like to do, Nate. We'd like to get your identification, identify you, and then see what the hell's going on here. Okay. Now what's your middle and last name?
I don't want to give that information, sir. I haven't.
I'm saying, Nate, you know, it is a violation of the penal code to photograph the inside of that office. Nate, and you did it, okay?
But it's a public lobby,
Relax.
though.
Here's what I'm gonna do. But you photographed the inside. And that is a misdemeanor crime. And Nate, here's one of the main things.
What's the code on that?
Listen, I don't know the penal code off the top of my head.
Okay.
So Nate, here's a real concern I have. You're filming the back of the police station where I have also safety concerns for my officers. In a lot of towns, we have people all the time, and we're not accusing you of this, but may not have the best intentions as far as officers. So, based on that, and based on the combination of your activity, go ahead, ma'am. We're going to insist on identifying you, and you don't have a choice. As well as the penal code violation you committed just minutes ago.
What is that violation, though?
I was asked and answered. It's the same as photographing an election office or the inside of a jail.
I've actually done that before. Okay, many facilities.
Yeah, and that's a misdemeanor crime, and that's why you're being contacted, and we want your identification. So we want it right now, Nate.
I don't want to provide that. Okay, sir. I want to contact my lawyer. Okay. Okay.
That you not sure that hurts.
All right, so.
Hey, buddy, can you do me a favor?
Like what?
It needs to be fixed so I can pause the video as well. I don't know what's up, but
you can't pause it. You should be able to. Try to hit the play button again.
It plays for half second, and that's it.
I don't know. I'm doing the exact same thing as I did last time. You should have control to.
Okay, I'll just ask Bunny. Can you pause it for me?
Just do that.
Cool. So go ahead. Say what you're going to say, brother.
Anyway, I mean, as is. That's the police chief once again with Morro Bay here, doing the arrest. And the fact is last time I checked, there was no penal code in the state of California that covers the filming of inside the public lobby area of a police station. And they're sitting there making up the laws, and then they go and arrest Nasty Nathaniel and all that stuff. And what's quite interesting is it turns out that the police department is sort of also got the backing of the local community for, okay, let's violate people's rights kind of thing. And it's sort of a weird thing that it's sort of gravitated where it's influenced the local area to be just as bad with the various citizens that have harassed people that went down there and did public filming and stuff like that.
Yeah, you kind of had this little weird vigilante film crew. I'm not going to say their name to give them any publicity, but it was a film company, an indie film company that does commercial ads and a bunch of other stuff. They're actually pretty talented, but they came down and harassed folks when they wanted to do a follow-up on this story. And what they don't understand is that it's Nasty Nathaniel and all the other auditors and cop watchers are fighting for the rights of these people that want to shoot these commercial films. You know, when you want to go do some commercial cinematography for a job that you've been hired to do, and you're by a bridge or an important structure like a power plant or something, and you're just trying to, like, you know, you're on an editing schedule, in a shooting schedule, and you've rented equipment that's costing you thousands of dollars a day, and you set up, you know, thanks to Nasty Nathaniel's face on this ground right now, the likelihood of you getting harassed in an area where this stuff was done diminishes. You know, thank you. You know, thank your local cop watcher. Thank your local auditor. You know, people like us risk arrest, risk being shot, risk being beaten up, are harassed by police. You know, there's so much stuff that happens behind the scenes to us that you guys don't even know about. You know, and like just watching these people, especially a film crew in an indie film company to go and do this is just repugnant. Like talk about getting slapped in the face by the very people that you're trying to defend their rights, you know?
Well, but I mean, they have that right to do that. I mean, that's
that's the thing. But it's douchey. And being an asshole isn't illegal. If it was, I'd be in prison. I mean, you're right.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, and you see this kind of stuff happening in other places too. I've seen it happen in like the vlogs of Corridor Digital, where they got some kick-ass videos that they produce, and then they have a second channel that does the behind the scenes. And there's several times where I've seen in their behind the scenes where they go out to film at a certain location, and then the police roll up and they're just filming in a public like alleyway kind of thing, and they go, you need a film permit to be over here filming, blah 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 blah. Well, guess what? They're not actually blocking or closing off the alleyway. People can still move through there, but they don't need a permit unless they're literally closing it down. Public filming and sitting there and filming your antics is, you don't need a permit for that. Now, if you're going to close it down and kick people out of that area while you're doing the filming, yeah, I view the reason, yeah, you need to get a permit saying, yes, we're going to rent this area out so we can shoot a video or whatever, a movie. But when you're just sitting there doing an indie thing and you're still allowing people to move through real fast or whatever, to allowing people to pass through, you're not going to be really, you're not blocking anybody, then there's no reason to get a permit. And a lot of times it's like, oh, you need a permit to film this. You need to apply or talk with our public information person or whatever. That seems a little bit out of line for a public place where people are able to stand or go into and talk or converse or whatever, or get actual documentation from a public office inside a building and stuff like that.
See, a lot of these cops get confused between commercial use and, you know, people gathering news. You can gather news content all day long. You're not, you know, planning on making a film and selling the movie. You know, you're not producing commercial content, you know. And there are, like, you know, lots of city ordinances that make sense about, as Bunny just said, you know, if you want to bring a film crew out there and you want to bring soft boxes and light-alls and, you know, have electric lines running up and down the sidewalk and shut the sidewalk down for, you know, 4 or 5 hours while you're shooting, of course, you know. But a lot of cops will just, you know, get on their smartphone or open up their little blue book or whatever and find an ordinance and read through it real quick and then waddle their fat asses out of their cars like a penguin and act. Oh, citizen, you don't have a permit for commercial use. And like, they just need to get educated. You know, that's the point, you know, of activists. I mean, we're here to educate the police. And a lot of times we have to drag them kicking and screaming, and they need to hear a lot of expletives and get ridiculed. But, you know, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. I mean, somebody has to ridicule cops. Somebody has to call them out when they're acting like bullies and thugs. Someone needs to go out and embarrass them when they're acting like violent children. And that's what they're acting like. Violent children acting out.
Yeah, and the thing is there, I mean, this is just showing the bad police, and that's what we do. We go out and we, with the First Amendment auditing and testing and the cop watching, we go out, we're just, essentially what we're doing is we're tilling the field and pulling the bad police out, which is the big rocks that are going to interfere with the growing of the crops, of having a productive ground. And we're trying to ensure that we're going to have a productive society by making sure, hey, oh, we found a bad officer. Let's expose that. Hey, yo, we got a bad thing here. Put a flag in the ground. We'll come back and remove it, or try to remove it right then and there through through official complaints, maybe a lawsuit or something like that, if that's need to be done. Unfortunately, when it comes to removing bad police officers or just straight up like bad police departments, it's not an easy task. We're essentially trying to remove a really large boulder with a small little hand shovel kind of thing, a dowel or whatever that you use for gardening. That's the kind of stuff that we're working with on this. And I also want to expand. Now, I over this past week, I have learned some further interesting information about how bad Springfield Police Department is. It seems that every single time I talk with some random person in this local area about Springfield, I learn a little bit more about problems that goes on with that. With that police department. And I've gotten word that a whistleblower just recently got a huge settlement out of the city of Springfield for stuff that happened to them. And I'm still got to sit down and do the research on that. I just actually learned about that last night. And yeah, that's I'm gonna cover. It seems like the Springfield Police Department is going to need a lot of work. They're going to need a lot of activism to hopefully get them where they're working right and not violating people's rights. But
hey,
that's going to be...
Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely going to be some explaining to do. And I know with Mike Bluehair, it's been an ongoing thing with Portland there. Portland's got a lot of problems with their police department.
Yeah. Portland is under a great amount of scrutiny by the Department of Justice because of a high-profile police murder. Then officers Christopher Humphreys and Sergeant Nice, now Kyle Nice, beat James Chasse Jr. to death. It was a schizophrenic man who was living in a low-rent hotel at downtown Portland, Oregon, and he ran from the police, and they claim he was urinating in public, and his punishment for public urination and running was to have, you know, his ribs were broken in more than 20 places. He had, you know, spinal damage. He was beaten unconscious. When medical showed up to try to render medical aid to him, I believe it was Kyle Nice. Officer Nice waves the medical off saying, oh, this guy's a junkie. We deal with him all the time. And he encouraged them not to treat him medically. You know, this was like right in the middle of the day in downtown Portland, Oregon. So they hog tie him. They tie his ankles together and his wrists behind him and load him in the car. He's bleeding all over the car. There's images. If you research this out on the interweb, you can find the images of the inside of the car. It's just blood on the walls, on the windows, all over the seat. When they take him in, when Humphreys and Nice take him into Multnomah County Injustice Center, that's what I call the MCDC, or Multnomah County Detention Center, he gets there and the jail nurse takes one look at the guy and says, this man's going to die. Take him to the hospital. You know, and there's film of it where, like, he's had all these multiple ribs broken, and there's film from inside of the jail of them carrying him like a side of beef, you know, and they end up taking him in the car again, the same officers that originally brought him in, to the hospital, and then they say they took him out onto the sidewalk and tried to administer CPR, and you know, James Chasse Jr. died there. That case got Portland in a lot of trouble, and there was a lot of scrutiny because of the Department of Justice got involved, and they did a statistical analysis and a big investigation in the Portland Police Bureau's treatment of people having a mental health crisis and people that are having a hard time, like, mentally while they're on drugs. And they found a statistical a frequency of people being really abused and hurt, especially ones that are mentally ill. And what cops are trained to do is something in their use of force continuum. It's ask, tell, make. You know, sir, can you not put your hands in your pocket? You know, get your hands out of your pockets. And then the third time, it's get your hands out of your pockets or I'm going to shoot you or you will be tased. Well, all that police get trained, you know, for the most part, there's not a whole lot of de-escalation. There's not a whole lot of, you know, de-escalation in their training. You know, they're getting better here in Portland. They've changed their policies. They've changed the police academy. They've changed the use of force policy to try and conform with what the Department of Justice wants. But there still needs to be a lot of improvement. But all the officer sees is someone not complying. You know, more often than not, and there's a very high frequency of people being abused in our jail here that have mental problems. They get picked on, hazed, treated as if though they're you know, garbage. Like I'm the guy everybody tells their horror stories to. You know, my inbox isn't just the fluff news. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I get to hear all the stories about, hey, you know, guess what happened to me when I was in jail. You know, but the people in the jail here in Portland, Oregon, the COs, the screws, or the sheriff's deputies, whatever you want to call them, they have this fun little tradition that if you get on their nerves, they just turn the water off in your cell for 2.5 days. So you know, you're looking like somebody's been walking across the Sahara. Your lips are cracked, and you know they're bleeding, and you're literally on the verge, or sometimes even drinking your toilet water before they'll turn your water back on. You know, and people that are have a mental deficiency are even more abused and picked on in our jails than other folks, and there's statistics that prove that. You know, so Portland has not met the expectations of Judge Simon, because there's a federal judge that they have to meet with every every year and make a report to. They haven't met those expectations for as long as I've been in Portland. I've been in Portland since 2008.
Yeah, and the thing is this is, I mean, Portland is a good example where at least there's it looks like there might be some improvement. But another good example of bad police departments is Baltimore, which is notoriously corrupt. I mean, what was it? The one guy who got his back broke and ends up dying in a rough ride in a police vehicle, and the exposure
Freddie
that
Gray,
brought. I couldn't remember the name there. Yeah, but the Freddie Gray incident is another great example of just bad police departments run amok and they start killing people. And then we have what was it? It was over in Arizona, right, with the homeless guy that got shot by the cops that were responding in a swamp manner when all he was doing was he was camping in the foothills outside of town.
Yeah, I can't remember that fella's name, but I was made very angry about that when it happened years ago. If you give me a sec, Bunny, just talk to him and I'll find that.
But I mean, the thing is we have various instances where bad policing have caused a loss of life needlessly because bad officers are allowed to run amok. And we see this time and time again, where if there is a bad officer that is not reined in or is not thrown out of the force, eventually they're going to do something stupid and cause a loss of life and cost the taxpayers tons of money. A good example would be the gypsy cop that shot the Tamir Rice over there in Cleveland, where they sat there and, they came up with the brilliant idea, we're going to roll the car up right next to this kid who's got what appears to be a handgun, which was in all reality just an airsoft little pistol thing that shoots pellets at really low speeds, and they shot and killed him in front of his sister. This is a major issue within the police departments, that these bad police officers are not being properly dealt with. They're allowed to keep their license when they are chased out of a police force and hop into another one, when literally at best they should probably be just working a security detail for a private security company or something like that. They really shouldn't be armed. They shouldn't be out there enforcing laws, because they're going to try to bully people, and it will cost people's lives, and it will cost the taxpayer. It's one of the reasons why we have high expectations for cops, but often when you look at some of these smaller towns and stuff like that, the high expectations not upheld, and just because we need someone to do it, we're willing to overlook stuff. Or with some police departments, we pay too little, we don't have the tax revenue, and so we're gonna skimp out on the requirements kind of stuff.
Yeah, I got that information for the viewers. Yeah, I'll just send you a link to the video, and we can show the viewers. Yeah. But I'll talk about this for a second. The man's name was James Boyd, and he was a homeless camper up on a hill in out in Arizona. I think it was outside at Phoenix, and no, it was Albuquerque, New Mexico. Sorry. Here's the thing. So much about the James Boyd thing infuriates me, but one of the things is that there is a 2-hour video that you can find online of cops waiting at the edge of the perimeter. They set up black and white cops, the Dodge Chargers, around his campsite that was up on a hill. It was like a 30-degree gradient angle. It was about he was probably about 100 foot off the ground. The cliff went from level ground to about 100 feet up, and they established a perimeter, and they're talking for about 2 hours. And one of the officers that shot him was joking about shooting him in his dick. That's his words. Shooting him in the penis, and he was shot in the abdomen right beside his manhood. So this guy's agitated and he's got a knife, but he's way up the hill, and there's helmet cam video of this, and it's very disturbing. But what they do to quote unquote calm him down, okay, they bring a canine unit up and menace him. They surround him and slowly start closing a circle with long rifles, and then they throw a flashbang grenade beside him, to startle him. Then they shoot him. Then they maul him with a dog and shoot him with less lethal beanbag round. Like, all of this was just all kinds of wrong. They should have established a perimeter and had a hostage crisis negotiator talk to him for a few hours, not slowly close on him like he's an enemy combatant in some kind of, video game. Oh, let's take out the guy on the hill. No, these are people's lives. When someone's agitated, you don't surround them with a whole bunch of weapons, then add a dog to the mix, and then throw less lethal at them.
What is interesting is they open up with lethal force and then nail him with less lethal force after they actually shot with killing shots essentially on the guy.
Right, yeah, they dump rounds into him, and then they shoot him with the less lethal. Then they have the dog maul him a bit, and then they go and put handcuffs on him.
And one of my live chatters, sadomasochist, they fired 20 times, only 8 hit, 1 in the side, 1 in the thigh, 6 in the back, and then good citizen of the North, so they shoot like stormtroopers too, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and the thing is that the prosecutor, the DA that actually prosecuted this cop, just Google it. It's been so many years ago, but I don't know the specific details. But I know that the city went after the prosecutor that actually tried to press the murder charges on one of the cops, and it's just ridiculous.
Well, I think the cop is no longer able to do law enforcement after that incident, which is a good thing that came out of that.
But they actually went after the prosecutor and stuff like that. And I want to show the video, but I hate the young jerks. I mean, the young Turks, so I don't want to show their video. But just watch it yourselves, people. It's really disturbing. There was absolutely no effort to de-escalate that situation. And they had the perimeter. This guy was up on a Spartan hill, like a hill with just a few desert plants on it. There's 360-degree coverage. They could have that. They had a perimeter for hours and hours. They could have talked him down. I think that they're like dogs. A dog that likes to hunt. It's really disturbing. And I mean, police are the only profession or the only type of person in America that can get away with murdering you if you make a furtive movement. And all that means is if you make a movement that could have been construed as reaching for a weapon, they could kill you.
Yeah, and
everybody else...
Okay, Mike, I'm going to interrupt you here. And the thing is also, you don't need to send a crisis guy up there. You just got to send a cop up there. I mean, just in his normal attire, everyday street patrol attire. They go up there and say, hey, you can't be up here camping, man. Can you go to another location or whatever, or guide him to some sort of situation? You don't need to sit there and go in there like this guy's the Unabomber kind of situation. You got to have SWAT team ready. Yeah, everybody with thing. This could easily been dealt with just maybe about 3 cops, in my honest opinion. This guy wasn't that big of an issue. Okay, yeah, he had knives. Well, you keep your distance in that situation. Maybe have your backup. Maybe have their hands just ready to draw in case there was that kind of situation. But no, they had to go in there like this guy, like it was the middle of the Afghani desert, or Afghanistan or Iraq there, and he's a potential terrorist suspect that you're going to be taking in. And his only crime was, oh, I'm sleeping in the foothills outside of town. Come on. But go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was just, listening to you and just shaking my head in agreement. Absolutely. They could have handled that so much better. And it's not like it was a spur of the moment thing and they had to react to defend themselves. They had complete control of the situation. You know, that was just a straight murder. James Boyd was a murderer, just like, you know, that Brailsford cop murdered that kid in Arizona recently. That guy begging for his life on his knees, you know.
The thing is I mean, holding the government accountable and to keep it from going out of control is very important. That's why we got to criticize. We have the ability to criticize, and also to look into what public records we can pull on these issues. And I mean, you go and look up how much it costs for the lawsuits themselves. These things cost tons of money out of the taxpayers when they got to settle a wrongful death issue, or when they got to deal with the civil rights issue. These are not cheap. I mean, when Springfield had to pay the whistleblower, when I was initial look, it's like over $100,000. That's not a cheap settlement right there. That's quite a bit. And what Almost Park is going to be going through when it comes to civil court lawsuit, that's going to be even more pricier. It's just straight up insane how much these lawsuits cost. And this is just the settlement amounts that go to the complainant and their families and stuff like that, and the lawyers. This doesn't include the cost of the lawyer. I mean, paying the lawyer to represent the city and go through that, and all the time it takes to prep all that stuff, the deal with the legal battle.
Yeah, Bunny. These cops. There's a joke in law enforcement culture. If you read things like police1.com or a few of the other online news sources for cops, there's a joke, you know, you're in the $1 Million Club, and they think it's funny. You know, if you've cost more than $1 million in settlements, you know, there's this kind of nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more thing that where, oh, that's awesome. You know, you're really cool cop for doing that. We have a $1 Million Club cop in Portland, you know, oh, wait. Oh, I just found it. Never mind. Screw that. I just sent you a link, Bunny, to
the Discord?
The
okay, yeah, got it. Okay.
Murder of James Boyd by the police out in New Mexico. Can you show that to the crowd?
Yeah, I got that. Loading that up right now, and then I'll I turned off the window thing because we're just sitting here chatting. So I'll get that up here in a sec.
Coolness.
Okay, that's back online. That's back online. And also, NJ Diver also posted an interesting link, but we'll get to that a little bit later here.
Sure. And while Bunny's pulling that up for people to look at,
let's see here. Skipping it a little bit. Come on. I think it's lagging. Figures.
Oh yeah. While that video is slowly loading.
If you were down at a bar,
okay, here we go.
A bus stop, I have the right to kill you right now because you're trying to take me over. Don't get stupid.
We're not gonna get stupid.
You said we were walking out of here, now you're bringing up assault, and everybody's gonna get hurt again. All right, don't change up your agreement. I'm gonna try to walk with you.
All right.
Love folks. Try to harm you. Keep your word. I can keep you safe. All right. Don't worry about safety. I'm not a fucking murderer. All right. Try to harm you. Try to harm you. All right.
Do it.
Get on the ground!
Get on the ground! Get on the ground now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Don't make noise!
Put it up! Move it up!
Get your hands up!
Still got the knives in his hand? Still got the knives in his hand.
Still got the knives in his hand. Step up behind you. You moving?
His hands still armed.
Yep.
Get your hands out.
Get
Drop
your
the
hands
knife.
up. Lean back. Right behind you.
Put your hands out to your side and drop the knife. Hands out to your side. Beanbag! Beanbag! Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop the knife!
Still got the knife in
Negative effect. Still going hard on him? I can do him on him. Yeah, I don't want that knife in his head.
All right, he's good. Somebody step on that right hand real hard. He's got a knife in each hand. Knife in each hand. Knife in each hand. Rex, low. I got left. Good on. I'm gonna switch you. All right. Good. You got lethal right there? Yes. I have lethal. Push it right in. Follow. Where's that knife? It's further away from you. I didn't see where the other one went. Where'd the first knife go? Where'd the first...
But we get the basic idea of what happened.
I want to talk about this now.
Okay.
So just Google the raw footage and watch it at home, folks. But here are my major issues with this whole thing. Okay, he was complying. They were asking him to walk down the hill. Why in the fuck did they throw a flashbang beside him and startle him? Why are they slowly closing around him with all these lethal options, making him more afraid? You know, like, that makes no sense unless your intention was to ambush and kill him. You know, to use the flashbang as a distraction while you're shooting him. You know, this is just plain out murder.
And he was peaceful before the flashbang. He was like, okay, let's go ahead. He's throwing on his backpack. He's getting ready to go ahead and leave. Leave with you officers. And they throw the flashbang.
And it scares the hell out of him. It scares him.
Yeah, and so obviously, if you're a person that's always in a defensive situation where you think you're going to have people trying to hurt you, and that does happen with some of the homeless population where they're constantly having to defend themselves, quite often, yes, they're going to have something to defend themselves, some sort of knife or whatever. And so, yeah, he was ready to pull, and his natural reaction, I got to defend myself, I pull out my weapons. Well, all of a sudden, oh, he's got knives. Gun him down. That's pretty much their reaction right then and there. And none of that needed to happen because someone got decided, I'm going to just go ahead and pop a flashbang off. Well, actually, that was more of a concussion grenade, but still, yeah, it was not needed at all.
Yeah, I believe that the whole flashbang thing was talked about beforehand, and they planned it. Because you can hear one of the officers, all this memory's coming back. I analyzed this footage into the dirt years ago when it happened. But you can hear one of the officers say, do it, right before they throw the flashbang. So I know that this was like an ambush thing, okay? Like by their behavior and how, when the cop says, just do it, and he throws a flashbang. And yeah, Bunny was touching on something. There's all kinds of flashbangs. There's these little inert ones that only make a little bit of noise. They're called a distraction device. And then there's breaching flashbangs that can, cause a mortal wound if it blows up really close to you. And there's like variant degrees of intensities. And I have no idea what type of flashbang this was. And there's no way to really tell unless you actually pick it up and read the serial number and then go back to its SKU number and figure out what it is. But like, this was a planned attack on this guy. And when you analyze it and read all about it, in case, you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And I mean, let's move into more of a, for a general citizen that applies. I can't load this one into YouTube. So there's going to be a little bit, you're going to have to watch your, what is it, your broadcast there. But it's a Facebook posting video dealing with San Bernardino deputies threatening to push charges on someone that's at a police department wanting to file paperwork here. And this is quite the interesting and telling story. Whoops. Okay, whoops. Here we go. Hit the allow. Here we go.
I'm about getting tired of you, and you're about to go to jail, just so you know.
What am I going to jail for?
I'll create something, you understand? You'll go to jail, you understand that?
Only on two, a San Bernardino deputy is under investigation after he's caught on video threatening to create charges against a Victorville man.
Yeah, Duncan Hicks captured that disturbing encounter on his cell phone.
Well, tonight the sheriff says his deputy was out of line. CBS 2's Crystal Cruz is live in Victorville and shows us what else was captured on video. Crystal.
Hi, yeah, this man, he says he was threatened, disrespected, and now he'd like to see this deputy fired for what he caught on video right here at this station.
What is this?
That's the incident report number.
Oh, this is the number.
That's it. That's all there is to it.
Duncan Hicks was inside the Victorville police station this month to file a police report. Unsatisfied with how the receptionist and deputy were handling it, Hicks recorded part of the incident.
He was very disrespectful to me, very rude to me.
Hicks says this was his third time here and also called once to file a few custody disputes with his child's mother, and says this time the deputy refused to write his report down and then took it a step further.
This is not explaining the incident, sir.
Okay, Duncan, you know what, man?
Yes?
I'm tired of you.
Oh, I was just wondering, you still trying to cue that up for people?
You have to watch the actual live stream, man. I can't. It's a Facebook video. I can't cue that up through Watch Together.
I got you. Okay, I'll be quiet.
I told you that before I started playing it and gave you a chance to do that.
I know. I was reading this crap in my chat room.
You're not paying attention. You got to multitask, man. Okay, I'll continue playing this and then I'll explain a little bit more.
You're about to go to jail, just so you know.
What I'm going to jail for?
I'll create something, you understand? You'll go to jail, you understand that?
I was shocked. I didn't do nothing wrong. You know, I'm a law-abiding citizen.
You can't say that. How are you going to create something? That's against the law.
Illegal? Recording me like that? That's illegal. Without my knowledge, you want to go to jail for that too?
According to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, recording in the station is allowed.
You have a gun on your hip. I'm doing this for my protection.
Please, this is Caroline. Hope, please. You're not starting that here in my lobby.
Sheriff John McMahon released a statement that reads in part, "Since viewing the video, our employee's response to the citizen is not consistent with my expectation of customer service. Additionally, the deputy's responses are not consistent with the interpretation of the law."
That's his way of doing his job. I would like him to be fired.
Now, the Sheriff's Department says they are investigating, and once they're done with their investigation, an appropriate action will be taken. The deputy remains on the job.
Yep, and that's the big problem with that. The deputy remains on the job. My question is what kind of punishment he ended up getting, because as is, he's threatening to violate someone's rights, civil rights right there, trying to cover a wrong that's being done to him. He's there to put down a police report, a legal document. That way, if he has to go to court later on that issue, it is there. He could say, yes, it is. This is my statements. This is of the situation that happened. This is my little thing about it because of this ongoing civil case that I have going with someone else. I mean, while the police department is a mediator for dealing with law and all that stuff and individuals, it's also a way of filing important legal documents for a larger case that is ongoing when it comes to this kind of stuff. Mike, were you able to review a little bit of that, or?
There's a delay on my my YouTube live stream, so I'm not.
There is always a delay, man. It's going to range from 30 seconds to 60 seconds.
It's not working. I did not see any YouTube video come through my live stream.
It's not a YouTube, it's Facebook.
Or Facebook video.
It did not showing on the OBS here, so.
Nope, it's not showing on YouTube.
We're going to work on your tech issues, man. We really need to work on it.
Wait a minute. Your stuff isn't coming through YouTube, so that's somehow my fault.
No. I'm broadcasting. I'm looking at my YouTube live stream, and I'm staring at
I'm looking at my YouTube live stream, and there's no Facebook video on it.
You don't see... okay, let me... okay, we're going to fix some tech... Well, I'm going to look at some tech issues real fast here, guys.
Yeah, seriously. It's not on mine. Can people in my chat room... Did anybody see a Facebook video?
Oh, you can't back.
Real fast.
Okay, I'm looking at your Facebook live, right? I mean, I'm looking at your live stream right now. and I see the Facebook video. It's now paused. I'm staring straight at that, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna post
so
this.
my people are saying they see it, but okay, like I don't know why I can't see it on my screen.
Click that link. Click that link that I just sent you real fast, and you'll see it.
All right.
Do you see it now? It's there.
No, my computer's loading. Hold on. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, so it's there. It's just we got, as I said, we're gonna work on your tech stuff here. We're gonna sit down and deal with this a little bit later, obviously. But I guess you got my commentary on that. Okay, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and move on to the whole. Definitely, the schools teach them about. Oh no. Let's talk about the one that you were so wanting to talk about earlier today during the pre-show.
Yeah, I'm too disturbed to read this. Like it creeps me out too much. The Cannibal Cop article. Just read it to him, and then I'll talk about the whole conspiracy charges and how other people are treated if they're not cops when they're arrested by this. But just wow.
This is New York Post article. Yeah, I understand New York Post is a shit company when it comes to the media, but we'll go. This is what Mike provided me. Cannibal Cop still fantasizes about being an actual cannibal. This was from February 18th, 2017, a little over a year ago. Notorious Cannibal Cop Gilbert Valle says he still has a hankering for websites devoted to flesh-eating fantasies. The former NYPD officer recently told Inside Edition he still visits the lurid sites because there is nothing illegal. There's nothing wrong with that. What I do at home is my business. Valet added, it's not a crime to fantasize about people you know. It's a crime to fantasize about committing crime against people you know. It's an action that's illegal. It's action that's illegal. There is no action taken, period. During the segment to be aired Wednesday, the 32-year-old Queens resident also admitted he once wrote that he wanted to savagely attack his wife, cause her to bleed from a head wound, and listen to her scream in agony. Yeah, I did write those things, he told the Inside Edition correspondent Dane McClarney. Valet was convicted in March 2013 of plotting to kidnap, kill, and cook a laundry list of women while he was a police officer. His wife, who was on his purported death list, discovered he had been visiting gory, fleshy sites and online chat rooms detailing in his cannibalistic fantasies. What do you got to say so far, man?
If you keep reading down there, he actually talks about, and you read deeper into the story and you read the other articles, and he actually had elaborate plans out of how to cook the people, how to eat them, all this fun stuff. Now, one of the backbones of convictions in America are conspiracy to commit murder charges, conspiracy to sell drugs, conspiracy to do that, conspiracy to do this. And it's if two or more people, if they have documentation of two or more people talking about and planning out to do these things, that they can be put in prison over it. Well, this cop, his conviction was overturned, if memory serves.
At the bottom of the article, it says, about a year later, a judge overturned his conviction on appeal, leading to credence of Valet's argument that he was merely fantasizing.
Right. He was fantasizing on chat rooms and internet forums, talking with other sickos about how they'd like to go out and eat people. And he actually talks about, one of his buddies, online sicko buddies, asked him, how big's your oven? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll cut her legs off. I mean, this is sick stuff. Anybody else, anyone under the sun other than somebody who's behind that blue wall of protection would be in prison right now. I'm serious. If they record, if investigators record a phone call where you say that you're going to kill somebody to another person, you go to jail for conspiracy to commit murder. But this guy's written, practical books about it. He's got his own little, fantasy cookbooks at home they found. And he's on these chat rooms talking to other people about it, And this is what happens. You get some judge that's part of the thin blue line of tyranny. Just, oh, it's no big deal, man. Oh, who hasn't thought about, chopping up women and, eating them? I mean, and these kind of stories come out in the corporate media and jack nor shit is done about it. like people still worship cops as if though they're like, you know, something to, you know, admire, you know, like we are sick as a society when we allow this kind of stuff to happen. I mean, just mentally ill.
Yeah, someone, Kindle Navstar. Bunny, show the video where the cop executes a man in the hotel hallway. I don't know. Do we have enough rage? Do you want to do that? Because I might end up throwing something through a TV screen, and I don't want to do that.
I can't do it, man. I can't. I'm just too pissed off. I've had too much ginseng. I might vibrate out of my chair, and sometimes when I go off on tangents, Bunny has to make me, you know, calm me down. And I don't want to. No, I don't want to watch the Brelford murder.
Yeah, yes, the nice, quiet little bunny here has to be the calming effect as I sit here and just be silent and just sniff away kind of thing, and just like sort of twitch here, twitch my ear, look cute. Anyway, but what's interesting though is this also, because it was overturned in the appeals court, it might have created case law too. So this is going to be interesting in future issues of something like this that comes along. So I just want to point that out, because this went to an appeal, and quite often when something is appealed, goes to the appeals level, it will establish or can establish a case law that will affect future cases that will go into that issue. So maybe it could be a good thing. It could be that if anybody else gets hemmed up on this over in New York, that they can point to this case and go, hey, yo, well, you let this cop off, so you sort of created precedence here. Why am I getting hemmed up on this?
I'm having a hard time making sentences. My eyes twitching. My hands are digging into the armrest of my chair right now. I'm just...
Okay,
he's so pissed off.
Okay, good. Well, here's the thing. Well, good thing later on tonight I plan on going bar hopping and some drinking, so we could have some time to let off steam and maybe watch someone be stupid and get arrested. So it is a Friday night. It is a full moon, and all that fun stuff.
I'm going to do my patrol with Uncle Bob tonight, so there'll be.
You're always patrolling and stuff.
Well, every weekend, yeah. Sometimes on Wednesday as well, but yeah.
Let's see. BBI said he was going bar hopping tonight later. Okay, so anyway, let's cover something that Constitutional Hero wanted me to go ahead and cover. It is 18 U.S. Code 1382, entering military, naval, or coastal guard property. And this is essentially a trespass kind of law, or CFR. And it states, whoever within the jurisdiction of the United States goes upon any military, naval, or coast guard reservation, post, fort, arsenal, yard, station, or installation for any purpose prohibited by law or lawful regulation, or whoever re-enters or is found within such reservation, post, fort, arsenal, yard, station, or installation, after having been removed therefrom or ordered not to re-enter by any officer or person, is commended or charged therefore of, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 6 months or both. And after I took a quick look at this Constitutional Hero, this is essentially just a weirder version of a trespass law that says, hey, you're not allowed to enter to do unlawful activity. If they're saying that you're not allowed to be there, don't be there. It's just literally a slightly more complicated version of trespass. What do you think, Mike?
You know, still too angry, can't talk. Just, I can't make words, man. I'm just...
Oh, okay, okay. we have to fix this. I need to find a cute animal video here. What? Oh, I know. Hold on. Don't worry, Mike. I'm gonna help you out here.
Oh
I'm gonna help you out here. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna copy the link here. Yes, okay, got it. Get on your watch together. Okay, get to the watch together. I'm gonna calm you down. We're gonna calm everyone down here.
All right, all right. We're gonna, yeah.
Okay, here you go.
Oh my God, is that a baby ferret? Oh my God,
it's a weasel.
Oh, look at his little paws. Oh, like his front little boots. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Oh, gimme. There's room in my house for a weasel. I mean, I only have a squirrel and a cat, so. Look at the little tail, how it swings in a little circle. Okay. Okay, I'm good. I can make sentences now. Thank you, Bunny. Wow.
I know how to calm you down. There we go. I hope that all called you down. No, well, music doesn't work, man. But yeah, as is, it's quite the interesting. Mixed martial arts. Yeah, yes. Let's calm ourselves down with some smooth movements and all that stuff. Feng shui. There we go. So
no, I'm good with the weasel, man. Okay, I can concentrate now. I mean, I was literally like, my neck muscles were seizing up. I was like digging my nails into my armrest. I was twitching. Like, I was about to pop.
Okay.
Just anger.
Sarah, this is soothing for Mike. Yes, we had the calm Mike down. Yeah. So are you able to think back about the CFR I just read with the weird trespassing one that's just complicated? Well, not really too complicated, but should I read it again?
Yes.
Okay. Entering Title 18 CFR 1382, entering military, naval, or Coast Guard property. Whoever within the jurisdiction of the United States goes upon any military or naval, coastal post, fort, reread this. Goes upon any military, naval, or coastal guard reservation, post, fort, arsenal, yard, station, or installation for any purpose prohibited by law or regulation, or whoever re-enters or is found within any such reservation, post, fort, arsenal, yard, station, or installation after having been removed therefrom, or ordered not to re-enter by any police officer or person in command or charge therefore of, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 6 months or both. To me, I mean, after sitting down and reading, it's pretty, I mean, fairly straightforward. Just don't go in here.
Yeah, that's criminal trespassing on steroids, basically.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I see it. And what's also sort of interesting is not more than 6 months. So this is like meant to be sort of like a misdemeanor federal crime here. And also, just to give you a heads up, at the federal level, if your total possible punishment is under 6 months, they don't have to provide you a public defender. I've learned this when I was dealing with the federal courthouse / visitor center up there in Anchorage. I asked about that. I do have that recording of that court interaction. I made sure to get a copy of that and upload that, so that way people can be educated on that issue. And I need to sit down and actually go over and see if I can dig up the case laws that cover that issue. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I like how it's just a catch-all, you know, if it's in a violation of any law or state, or, you know, it's the same legal language that's for any other standard criminal trespass law. If you come back after you've been told to leave or ordered to leave or made to leave, you know, it's just criminals. It's a no-neck, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger version of trespassing.
Yeah, but I mean, literally, and I'm pretty sure this is actually what they were charging James Freeman with federal-wise for the whole film when he got arrested the other week for filming the entrance while standing on a public sidewalk that's outside the base, where the demarcation line is over by the actual gate further down the driveway road thing there. Yeah, they're going to try to charge him with this, and it's not going to work, obviously. Especially with the way it's worded. And hopefully he does a video where he literally looks up the laws and points out, reads that stuff out. I sat there and I did that a couple of times. I've sat there and read the law so people understand what I'm going through. And I've done that on a few occasions there. Let's see. Stay off base. Rules change after crossing that line. That is very true, good citizen of the North. When you go... the thing is when you cross the threshold to go into a building, or when you cross a threshold to go onto certain properties that are government-owned, the rules and regulations and can easily change. And the same thing with case laws on how that's all applied. And it was United States v. Appel is a good example of the argument. And if you look at the preceding cases before that, was like whatever v. Flower and the other case law that precedes it, that covers those issues. It's quite interesting at how the case law around the issue has evolved through the past 5 decades on the issue, because it goes, well, no, actually, I think it goes back almost a full century, because the first one there, which I think it was a Flower case, or the one preceding that, takes place actually back over at San Antonio, which is quite interesting, and a base that was literally open to the public, where the general public could just drive through the base. It was not a big issue. But as is, I think we're going to open it up to people who want to make public comments and stuff like that within the Discord voice chat. I have the description is in the link of my live stream if you're on YouTube. The link is also on Twitter. I mean, not Twitter, on trying to remember. Twitch. Twitter and Twitch. It's so similar names, it throws me off all the time. And once again, I'll go ahead and post that over there in Mike Bluehair's chat. If you guys want to hop in and give us comments and stuff like that. Yes, I'm putting a tech requirement, but it also sort of filters out fluff, problem causers and all that stuff. So could we not have, Mystic David, so so would we not have the right to record inside a courthouse? You do not have the right to record inside a courthouse. That is very go ahead, Mike.
I have some experience with that. Here's the thing, right? The way U.S. law is written is the cop and the judge is the same person in the jail. Okay, or not in the jail, but in the courtroom. The judge is the absolute ruler of that space, and you can get 30 days or 60 days of contempt of court for doing anything a judge doesn't like you doing. So if the judge says you can't record in the courtroom, you can't record in the courtroom. And there's no appealing it. There's no mechanism to defend yourself. The judge just says contempt of court and gives you how many days you're going to stay in jail, and you go to jail. There's no getting around it, and there's no getting a lawyer to face your accuser, none of that. You just go downstairs or across the street to the jail. So do not ever record inside a courtroom. I actually was convicted of contempt of court because I opened up one of those little bloggy cameras and got smart alecky with a judge, and that's a story that I don't want to tell right now. But basically, I said some stuff the judge didn't want to hear, and the judge said I had 30 days to go to jail. I'd be in jail for 30 days, but then after I left, as the doors closed, they said, let him out. The judge said, let him out later this afternoon. So I had to sweat for 8 hours worrying that I was going to be in jail for a month. But yeah, you cannot film inside a courtroom, and they will charge you with contempt.
Well, and it's not just the courtroom. They're actually more specific. They said, yes, Bunny, inside the courthouse in general, not just the courtroom. And here's the deal. The courthouse, you must look up the local laws that apply to that courthouse. And you need to see, where does the limit of recording? If it's something like the Eugene courthouse, all recording is not allowed unless you get prior approval for inside the building itself. So you can't go in and go and do a records request while recording when you go and talk to the court clerk. But let's say I go and do something similar over, well, I did this over at the Alaska State Courthouse in Anchorage, where I walked up to the, I stood in line and waited in line to go and request documents from the court clerks there, and I was recording the entire time. It's because I did my research beforehand and looked up the local rules for that courthouse. Now, some courthouses, it only restricts filming within the courtroom itself. Other courthouses, you can't film the interior at all of inside the courthouse itself. These things vary between both the federal and state level and the local level and all that stuff. and the local rules. And with the complicated situation up there in Alaska, with the federal courthouse and the the visitor center there, that also adds on a whole different issue of complexity within how that's got to be applied. So it's just recommend that if you want to go and do some coverage of something, look up the local rules. Now, if there's local rules restricting the ability to record inside the courthouse or inside the courtroom, and let's say you want to cover a case, well, then it's going to be up to you to put in the request to be able to do that. And just keep that in mind. Unless sealed, most judicial orders are obtainable. Yes, all judicial orders that apply for dealing with how things are done within that courthouse are usually publicly available, either through documents request, or they make it posted somewhere online through their the city website or through the county website or something like that, or borough website. It's not too hard to usually get that stuff. Now, if you try to make the phone call, hey, I'm looking if there's any local rules that apply to this situation, the clerk, they might not be able to answer that question because they might not even know. And I've sort of encountered that issue when inquiring with some of the local courthouses around the area about, hey, I'm just trying to look up the requirements for filming inside to do courtroom coverage and all that stuff. I was wondering, can you point me out to which where I might be able to find the law or whatever, where I can look it up? And they're like, oh, you just look it online. And that was their answer. Go ahead.
I got to weigh in here for a second. Now, if you want to ask permission, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Here in Multnomah County, many times judges will give you permission. If you go in and you ask the court clerk and you talk to the bailiff, they'll let you do it. They've let me and Bob record inside courtrooms when we politely walked in and asked. Sometimes they'll say no, sometimes they'll say yes.
Yeah, and I mean, that's as is when it comes to doing court reporting and all that stuff. The restrictions on how that trial is covered can be, I mean, fairly stringent depending on the case that's going on. Sometimes they need to clear it with the defendants and stuff like that. And there could be also dealing with witness protection and stuff like that. There might be saying, okay, you can record this, but you'll have to turn off the cameras. You can't record during this kind of thing. But that's how it goes. Let's see here. I haven't seen much from Silent Citizen. Is he okay? I talked with him about 2 weeks ago. I haven't talked with him since. I suspect he's still doing okay. I know he's been busy dealing with a bunch of stuff, so. Let me check the Discord here. Nope, no one over in Discord. The pull in to have talk. Let's see. This channel, this is a channel I could fall asleep to. Oh, that's good. That's nice, Mr. David. Of course, how should I put it? I listen to blood sports often to help me fall asleep. So, internet blood sports. The drama, the arguing, the debates, the
Roy,
clashing.
did somebody just say they're bored?
No, I don't think it was bored. I think they're just saying it's a nice chill thing. Judges like the Ninth Circuit, Justice C, and PA are big advocates for cameras in court, but restrictions, especially in PA, come from due process protections. That is very accurate statement, Daniel there. Trying to figure out Discord. Have not used it before. Sorgid in your chat. I have, if you're on a computer, I put up a tutorial video on how to do it through a web browser. If you use the app, if you use the computer program on Windows or Mac, it's pretty much the same way as using the Windows. I got I still got to finish working on the other video there dealing with the mobile app if you're going to try to do it through the mobile. And as is, it took me, what, a good month to train Mike Bluehair to sort of get in here, and he's still having difficulty learning the thing. So
I'm stubborn. I don't like to learn new things, but I'm slowly picking it up.
Yeah, but this is stuff that you're gonna. I'm trying to improve Mike Bluehair, so at some point he will be able to do this. Especially, let's say I get arrested again, except I'm not around. He's gonna be screwed because he's not gonna be able to really properly live stream do the entire live stream thing like I do.
Well, no, I can just do the regular YouTube one, which is boring, but whatever.
Yeah. Kendall Napstar, what is the drama with the Hemming Law Firm? You know what? I'm going to cover... I think I'm going to do a base coverage of that on my drama and live stream channel. So, you guys... because I think some people are confused about what's going on. It seems to be sort of dying down. And I'm just waiting for all the drama to die down, and I'll do like a after coverage kind of thing.
Bunny?
Yeah.
You need to educate me a little bit, because the only thing I know about that whole thing is what happened on our show. I don't know anything about any of the other stuff because I've been removed from it. But can you give me like the 4 or 5 sentence version?
4 or 5 sentence version. There was a falling out between Felipe and Time to Stand. It turned into a giant flame war behind the scenes, and then it just spread to the public scene. Other people got involved, and then you had the incident on our live stream, and then you had a few further drama blow-ups a little bit after that, but it seems to at least die down between, at least from what I can tell, between Felipe and Time to Stand. As for the other people that got involved, that is still ongoing to where they're messing with each other to some extent. Well, at least some people are messing with Felipe. I'm not sure too much if he's had any further slip-ups on his side of things. So hopefully things will calm down in the next week or so, and I'll be able to say, okay, this is everything that's happened. And I see we got someone in the public voice chat. Shall I pull them in?
Yeah, man, make it happen.
Things will calm down.
Hello, Kevin.
Say, okay, this
Can you hear us? Are we here?
In the public voice chat, shall I pull them in? Yeah, man.
Go ahead and mute the video, Kevin.
Hello, Kevin. Can you hear us? Are we here? In the public voice chat, shall I pull them in? Go ahead and mute the video, Kevin.
Or pause it. I might have to kick you back out. Oh well. Oh well.
That sounded awesome. I was like growling at it. Like, I don't know if that person was just trying to be a troll or what, but that was funny.
We'll give them a try a little bit later if they can figure it out there. But here's the deal. If I pull you in, it's just like if you're calling in on a radio show. If you got the radio blaring in the background and you start causing a feedback loop, we're just going to throw you back out. So I'll pull Kevin in here in like a few minutes. Hopefully he'll figure that out. But
yeah, just mute your computer and then
pay attention to what's going on, because if you're sitting there doing that, it's going to cause issues.
Yeah.
I know way too much. It has much more to do with... Desert Sentinel stating that he knows way too much. Yeah, some people do know too much. I would come to Discord for some questions, but I'm not in a good spot at the moment. I'm doing a research on an First Amendment auditor and impact of proliferation of camera tech on the government accountability. Cool, Daniel. That will be interesting to have you come in and talk about that stuff. So,
was that Daniel Solomon?
No, that Daniel Newwork or something like that. I think.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, but I'm gonna pull Kevin in again and see if these fix the stuff. Kevin.
It's gonna cause issues. Yeah. I know way too much. It has much more to do with.
Kevin.
He knows way too much. Yeah,
Kevin, you're fired.
I would come to Discord for some questions, but I'm not in a good spot at the moment. I'm doing a research.
Okay, I'm not going to sit here and listen to myself here. I mean, and the thing is if you're listening on my live stream, it can be up to a 2-minute delay. Be right. Do I have a call-in number? I have not established a call-in number because
Kevin, you're fired.
No, Ark. Let's see. Did you see? But yeah, as is, we got. When it comes down to it, I got to set up another internet phone number, or pretty much a throwaway number that will be dedicated for that. But I got to also set it up where it's not going to be automatically forwarding to my phone number, which takes a little bit of finagling with stuff. And yes, Spy Team, thank you for posting the Discord thing once again. But I mean, it's pretty obvious it's in the Discord chat. I mean, in the YouTube and Twitch thing. If you are on the other stuff, you could easily ask and I'd easily post it or whatever, get you going on that. Let's see, but as is, it is getting near the end of the hour. I know you wanted to plug something new. real fast that you got going on?
I can't do that without laughing, but I'll just tell people. All
just
right,
do it. Just do it. No, do it, man. Just do it. Come on, just do it.
Pull it up so I can read it. I'll do it. I'll try to get through it without laughing. All right. So, you ready for the plug?
I'm Shia LaBeouf here. Just do it, man. Just do it.
All right. I'm psyched. I'm ready to do it. Okay. Wait. Drink water. Are you tired of Big Brother eyeballing your internet activity? Are you concerned the government agents may be trying to plant kiddie porn in your computer? Are you feeling anxiety about an ex-girlfriend plastering your O-face all over the internet? Oops, I screwed it up already, so I'm done. I can't do this without laughing or screwing it up. Anywho, I'm an affiliate with Virtual Shield, and they're a lovely company that anonymizes your internet activities so that, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, Pimpleface Geek hackers, and the government have a hard time tracking you. And you know, it's basically like having an Anon mask on while you're wearing surfing through the web. So if you guys want to help this motherfucker out, you can smash that link and sign up for Virtual Shield, and you know, make yourself anonymous, because damn it, if all the little people make themselves anonymous, then the people that actually are doing web journalism can, you know, the government will be looking for all those other folks, so that'd be great, you know.
and
so I'm done now.
Yeah, well, the thing is the fun part actually with proxies, if you know how to use them right, is you're sending your web traffic out to a different location, and it pops out over in that area. So let's say I want to know what kind of commercials are happening on the other side of the country. Let's say over in New York, and you're on the West Coast. Well, you set your VPN exit over to New York, and you go and log in, and you hop in on YouTube. Well, now your ads are going to be the YouTube ads that you'll get are going to be related to wherever that the pop-out node's at, which is sort of fun, because when I was up in Alaska, I was messing around with VPNs. I was like, oh, I wonder what happens if I go out of California, and I started getting like ads from for the LA area and stuff like that, because that's where the exit node's at. And I shifted it over to Florida, and I'm sitting there watching people's videos, and I'm seeing the ads pop up for that area. You could have some fun with it. It does have security-ish stuff. If you're a very security-minded person, I do recommend doing a VPN if you have the money for it. I would do VPNs a little bit more often myself, but I just don't have the money to constantly do that, especially with all the other stuff I got going on half the time. So, but I may end up getting back in the whole VPN stuff and talking about it. Also, to give you a heads up, VPNs do add a little bit of lag. There will be a more latency and all that stuff, because you're routing traffic and encrypting it to some extent before it gets to the stuff. But
all right,
yeah,
next show I'm gonna make it through that without screwing it up. It's gonna happen.
Here, how about this? Okay, copy paste it, post it in the live chat thing here.
Oh, I've already done that.
Did you already?
Read it. Yeah, I've already put it in my live stream so people could check it out.
Well, oh, you mean in your description?
Oh, you mean to put it in the? I'll put it in the Discord. Yeah.
Put it in the Discord. I'm gonna take a chance. I want to have fun. I'm gonna try to read this. I'm gonna see if I can do what Mike Bluehair couldn't, guys.
Yeah. The problem is I think it's funny, so it's hard for me to read it.
And let's see if I can give the same twist here. Okay. Are you tired of Big Brother eyeballing your internet activity? Are you concerned that the government agents are trying to plant kiddie porn in your computer? Are you feeling anxiety about your pissed off ex-girlfriend hiring hackers to plaster your O-face all over the internet? Well, friends, next time you feel the urge, you can reach out and grab a bottle of lotion and your favorite superhero towel with confidence and thank the Virtual Shield VPN. You can secure your computer by smashing this link and signing up for Virtual Shield right now. And hell yes, I am proud to be a member of their affiliate program.
That's awesome, buddy. That's great.
The discipline of the silent treatment shows itself.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right. So next week I'm going to try to read that pluggy ad. But yes, VPNs are a great service, and you know, if you guys want to support what I do, hook a brother up. And that's all the plugging I'm going to do. Aside from this, if you're watching this on Steam and you're not sharing it, you're an asshole. You know, don't be an asshole, and you know, re-Steam this.
Yeah, see, we got a new person in the chat there, Sogard, or Sogrid, or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull him in. We got a new person in the chat there, Sogard, or Sogrid, or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull him in.
We got a new person in the chat. There's Sogard, or Sogrid, or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and
I'm gonna mute him for. Whoops.
We got a new person in the chat. There's Sogard, or Sogrid, or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull him in.
Mute him. Okay, I muted him for a second. Sogard, Sogrid, you got to mute the background there. You got to. Okay, I'll keep him muted for a little moment. So, and you guys talked about the drama. Here's the thing. The breadth of field is too big. There's so many activists out there. There will always be drama between the various activists for personal politics or beliefs and all that stuff, or they just don't like each other. It's going to exist. There's no way of getting rid of that. It's something that you're going to have to accept. But the best thing to do, if you have a disagreement with someone, try to settle or try to have a common ground. If there's a certain issue that you both need to work on or help, talk about it behind the doors and work out where you guys can work on a middle ground on an important topic or situation and all that stuff. Anyway, let's do one more check to see if Sobert is good.
Am I good?
Okay. Yes, I hear you, and we don't hear ourselves talking, which is the important thing on that part. So, go ahead, ask away, man.
I didn't even know what was going on. I just heard a loop.
Yeah, that's why I had the force mute you and hope that you fixed that, or I was gonna sort of just have to kick it back out and then maybe pull it back in later.
I got it pretty quick. It was just my settings were all messed up. So
okay, cool, man.
All right, I just wanted to just thank you guys for doing what you do. I really enjoy your your podcast type thing you got going on here. You guys have pretty much covered a lot that I've been looking into with down in Texas, so then everything it's just blown my mind. I just can't believe people like that exist. Because in Texas though, because I'm from Pennsylvania, so I don't really see too much open carry kind of things. It's sort of foreign, but I wouldn't expect that kind of thing from Texas. I don't know.
The whole thing with Almost Park is actually a weird thing considering the general mentality of Texas and firearms ownership.
Yeah, definitely. One question about this Discord. So when I jumped in, what that does, it just automatically takes you to this part where I can come in and talk. Is that what happens?
No. When you what happens is when you get in, you'll have to. Generally, it'll just link you to the public channels. This is actually specifically, this one is where I pulled you into when you I saw you logged into the voice chat for the public area. What I'm able to do is I'm able to drag you to this channel, so this way we can have a conversation, and without other people hopping in and then possibly interrupting what's going on. And so I can push people in and out. That's what this specific channel is. That's why it's named Livestream Voices, so people can come in and they'll sit in the public voice hangout area, and then I'll maybe ask them in the general text chat, hey, what's going on? You guys part of the show or whatever, if there's a lot of people, and then pull them in as when they're hanging out in the voice channel when they're actually already connected. And it looks like we've got people starting to figure it out, which is cool.
So I just wanted to say you're quite welcome, Sogrid. I do this from a sense of wanting to serve something greater than myself, and that's everyone's civil rights. So I feel compelled to do it. I would be, I do this on autopilot, the activism stuff. It's just part of me at this point. But you're quite welcome.
Yeah, and I get it. I'm looking into starting. I noticed there's not much going on over here, on the East Coast. Or there's some people doing stuff, but you would think it. There's a lot of nonsense that's going on, but it just doesn't get the coverage that it needs to get.
Well, that's part of the reason why there's always a need for more activists in certain areas, and especially areas that are not covered yet or barely have any coverage. I
was looking at said Pennsylvania was the 10th most corrupt state. I'm like, well, why is that? And then you just look further into it, and it has a lot to do with state police really not doing their jobs. So.
Yeah, that's part of the whole government accountability is to making sure they're doing the jobs right or doing their jobs at all. If they're being overzealous with their work, it's just as bad as when they're not doing their work.
And the good thing too is that we just had, I think it was Fields versus the city of Philadelphia Court of Appeals about a First Amendment rights case.
Out of the Third Circuit, yeah, that just happened last year, and what's great is the fact that they cited Turner v. Driver within that decision, which just goes to show you that if you stick it out and you create the case law, there will be other case law that builds upon that.
Oh, it was beautiful. Because they didn't even, I mean, they sided completely with, you know, the people that were unjustly arrested.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't give the police didn't get their immunity or anything, so it was nice. And they actually, in this case law, they did state that basically anybody and everybody has the potential to be a journalist. So that's one thing I noticed in that one that was pretty cool, because they're saying, you know, like they brought up the Rodney King thing where it's like, you know, at the time that person wouldn't have known, okay, this is going to be newsworthy, right? You don't know until after the fact. Like you have no idea what's going to happen. You're just recording, you know, so.
Yeah, and there's many things that people are just happen to be filming. There's some off the wall thing that happens nearby, and it becomes a viral video. Whether it's funny, it's hilarious, it's tragic, it's upsetting.
Well, here's a good example, guys. When Ramsey Orta filmed Freddie Gray getting, and I quote, "bent the way bodies don't bend," before the police threw him in the back of that paddy wagon and gave him a ride to his death. Ramsey Orta wasn't an activist. He was just a dude, you know? Like, after that, you know, that event caused a lot of social upheaval out there. I believe it was Chicago, Illinois, where that happened. I'm pretty sure it was in Chicago. Or was it Philadelphia?
No, it was Baltimore.
New York. Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. Anywho, that caused a lot of social upheaval. There was a massive amount of, you know, civil unrest. There was riots. There was a lot of attention drawn to issues of police brutality. Although all those cops got off on it and they weren't prosecuted. But you're right. At any given moment, what someone's filming with their cell phone could be thrust into the mainstream narrative. So we all are kind of the media at this point.
And then, well, the reason why that I think was brought up too is because the state was trying to argue that basically you only have a First Amendment right to film police or public officials if you have the intent to publish. So they argued, how would you know that you were going to publish it if nothing, like you don't know what's going to happen? You know, like it was an absolute idiotic argument, but I mean, you know, they kind of ripped them in the ass. So.
Yeah, well, man, if you're interested, I can walk you through the process of founding a FTP chapter or a Film the Police chapter out where you live. And I mean, I'll shoot you my email through the. I'll put my email in the chat room, my stream on YouTube, and we'll talk. Right?
All right, that's awesome. Thank you, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, and as is, there's always needs for more activists, but I just want to emphasize also, before you hop in and start filming like crazy and all that stuff, just be aware of how it can negatively impact your life, and if you're still wanting to do it after learning all that stuff, just make the preparations for yourself and your family and all that stuff, because I mean, there's a lot of negative things that can happen with this that brings attention to you.
They will come after you if you become effective. They really will.
They have no life to ruin. So, I mean,
and that's why actually it's quite interesting with the kinds of people that are already involved in it, the personality types. It's quite fascinating. The people that are involved in it, usually they're in a situation where they can't really be directly impacted outside of being arrested and attacked. There are a few people that do have families and stuff like that, and they're doing it, and more kudos to them to have the guts to be able to do that, and their families are supporting them and working with them.
I mean, that was it's amazing, like how, because I have a lot. I mean, I've been in, you know, poor neighborhoods for a long time, but I was homeless a little bit, and that's just crazy, because you will realize real fast that it doesn't matter who you are. If you're on the streets, you're going to end up being arrested or something. Find some way to turn you into keep you going on that track, and once you get out of it. But
yeah,
I mean, but it's just, you know.
And Son of High, is, yelling at his mic about not reading the chat.
Yeah,
He said, "Hey, Son of Hightower is yelling at his mic about not reading the chat. He said, "Hey, Son of Hightower is yelling at his mic about not reading the chat. He said, "Hey, Son of Hightower is yelling at his mic about not reading the chat. He said, "Hey, Son of Hightower is yelling at his mic about not reading the chat. He said, "Hey, Son of Hightower is yelling at his mic about not reading the chat. He said, "Hey, Son of Hightower is yelling at his mic about not reading the chat. He said, "Hey, Son of Hightower is yelling at his mic about not reading the chat. He said, "Hey, Son of Hightower is yelling at his mic about not reading the chat. He said, "Hey, Son of Hightower is yelling at his mic about not reading the chat. He said, "Hey, Son of Hightower is yelling at his mic about not reading the chat.
Well, here's the thing, Eli. I really wish that I could keep up on the chat, but I have a limitation. Okay, I'm dyslexic and I have adult ADHD. So literally it's really hard for me to keep up with the chat and multitask and keep track of what I want to say. So I apologize, Eli, and like just call my cell phone, you know.
Yeah. But anyway, we're rounding up to the end of the show. Do you want? We should probably go ahead and get our plugs. And Sogrid, do you have anything you want to quickly plug before we send you back to the public lobby?
Not at the moment, no. But it was great talking to you guys. Hope to do so again in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Call in anytime you want. And I sent you my email, so yeah, I'll give you my cell through email. I just don't want to do it through the internet. And we'll talk about 4-minute chapter of FTP where you're at, and I'll inform you of the dangers, like and all the stuff that could happen to you before you make your decision.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I have a good idea.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Have a nice evening, man.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and get our plugs. You want to go first, or should I go first?
Oh, you go ahead and go first, man.
All right. This has been Strategic Noncompliance on episode 14. We do this bi-weekly, twice a week, Wednesday 3 p.m. Pacific time frame and Fridays 6 p.m. Pacific time frame. As is, you can catch us on YouTube on Mike Blue Hair's channel or my channel, Bunny Boots Inc. here. But also on top of that, I live stream this across multiple channels. We have streaming, Mixer, Periscope, Twitch, and wow, what was the fifth one? Give me a second here. There was a fifth one, and what, Twitch, streaming, Mixer, okay, and YouTube. Never mind, I'm missing the fifth one. It was YouTube. I already mentioned that. But nonetheless, we do this twice a week, and of course, we got our own respective programmings on our channel of videos. Mike Blue Hair is always doing his stuff. I got my stuff in live streams. You can also catch me on BBI live streams and drama, where I'm looking to get that built up as a backup channel in case YouTube wants to come and hit us with a hammer. Anyway, just as is, we are being busy as usual. Stay tuned a little bit later tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get ready and go out and do some bar hopping live streaming, since tomorrow I'm going to be dealing with some sort of social thing, and I won't be able to do it tomorrow, so it'll be a Friday night bar hopping and cop watching. And what about you, Mike?
Well, I just have to announce that there's going to be some really cool stuff on my YouTube channel soon. Sitting in my living room right now is Derek Revies of Film the Police Minneapolis, and I've been looking forward to meeting him for a very long time. Quick little story, I met Derek through YouTube. I found a video where a cop snatched his camera away from him, threw him on the ground, menaced him with a dog, twisted his arm behind his back, and I actually talked to his lawyer in narration on the video. I'm like, if I was Eric, if I was Derek's lawyer, I would do X, and I would be interested in looking up this. And because of that video I uploaded of his, he landed a lawsuit against Minneapolis, won a settlement, you know, and justice was served from his cell phone video, and that's how we met. But anywho, Derek and I will be cop watching tonight. I'm very excited about that. Also, you know, we are community supported cop watching, you know, and activism. So anything you can do to help, you know, share what Bunny Boots and I are doing. Smash that super chat. Sign up for Virtual Shield, because, you know, they cut me one hell of a deal for you signing up, and it's a legit cool service. Like, I've used it before in the past. I can't really afford it myself right now. So, yeah, maybe I can afford Virtual Shield one day if a few of you guys sign up. But thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'm going to go out and cop watch with Derek and Uncle Bob, and I'll see you next time.
All right, guys, you have a good night and good evening.